Whenever you are ready, please let me know.
I'm ready.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Waj'al li waziran min ahli Harun akhi yashtud bihi azri wa yashriku fi amri. كي نسبحك كثيرا ونذكرك كثيرا إنك كنت بنا بصيرا وصل اللهم على محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وأتباعه وسلم والحمد لله رب العالمين آمين يا أرحم الراحمين. Please take.
All right. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Hope everyone is doing good, inshallah. Happy Ramadan once again. May we take heed of these opportunities as a way to recognize the true bestower of bounties. So today we are going to proceed with the fourth mystery. And we are on this journey of recognizing or living with the awareness of Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, in the name of God, the merciful, the compassionate. And just a little recap from the previous mysteries, although I know I won't be doing much justice in terms of what was shared and what all of you basically pretty much shared out your reflections on, but I will just give in some bullet points of what I took away from it. And so the first mystery, the author really is letting us know who we are as created beings or as human beings. We are on this human journey, and he's letting us know that there are certain things that we are encoded with. So for example, the sense of being grateful or thankfulness. So let's say if somebody gives me something, let's say you give me a banana and I would say thank you. That's how we are encoded with. And so this state of gratefulness is with the human beings. So even though if you do not give me a banana, I am still made in a way where I recognize my need. And so if I start off with my own existence, I realize that I'm in need to be given existence. So that itself is me being in a state of gratefulness, because I don't know how to explain really my existence. So that's the existence side of me is really mercy in itself, because if we think about it, how is it that I'm made to stand tall on the earth? I'm under the sky on the earth. Why isn't it that I'm floating like a particle of air or like a speck? So that was the first mystery, just making us realize that we are encoded with this recognition or this feeling of being thankful. And the second mystery was really an expansion of my existence. So when we start with our own existence, it's inevitable that we notice and observe the existence of everything around us. So we mentioned that how everything is so intricately interconnected and comes in together in perfect harmony. So even everything else is in need to be given existence. So for example, again, when you give me the banana, I say thank you to you. And at the same time, the banana says thank you to me because it's made for me to eat it. I eat it, and this feeling of gratefulness is imparted on me, and the banana itself is in need to be sustained as well. So this is how we are connected with the rest of creation around us. And the third mystery, It was a detailed one, but briefly, the author is drawing our attention to come to our senses, as in knocking, knock, knock, hey, human being, like, do you think that everything that you are made to experience, including your existence and the existence of the banana, do you think it's just a result of a random act? Does the banana know you? Or there must be a conscious will that is behind this perfect setup where you're given your needs, you're in need to eat the banana, you're given hunger, and then here is the banana available for you to satisfy your need. So really recognizing that how everything within us and around us is in need to be sustained and given existence. And also this third mystery pointed out the concept of intercession. So everything basically is interceding on behalf of a one not of the nature of this universe. So let's take in an analogy which we mostly use in these classes, is that we are all guests here traveling, and when you are a guest somewhere, then there must be a host, and so you're being taken care of by the host. So going back to the banana example, because the banana itself doesn't know me to satisfy my need. So it's really a deliberate setup. Things are perfectly made in a way that there is no denying in me concluding that I am being taken care of by a merciful and compassionate host of this universe. And so in a way, everything is interceding on behalf of this generous host. So there is just this consciousness and recognition of a conscious will behind the existence of anything. And that was it for the third mystery. And there was also the mention of the seal of divine oneness within everything. So questioning the source of existence of everything points to a single source of existence. And that was my brief takeaway on what we covered thus far. So inshallah, today we intend on covering the fourth mystery. And what's interesting is that these reflections that are being shared by all of us, it's really our human journey. And we are also very diverse in our make. So I highly encourage all of you to chime in, to express yourself out, because we are all given various ways to communicate and express out. So sometimes if only a couple of people are sharing in, then, we get used to the language, the sentence structure, so things become monotonous. And that's not what the human being is. We are very dynamic beings. We want to communicate in a diverse manner. So we would be very delighted. And actually, we are highly encouraging all of you to chime in, participate, share out your thoughts and expressions as well, because that's how we will be able to more reflect on our existence better. Because all of us are sort of like embarked on this journey of existence, and we just need to make sure that there's a flow, and then inshallah a discussion and a dialogue being taken place. With that, let's start with the fourth mystery. In the face of the manifestation of divine unity within boundless multiplicity, declaring, "You alone do we worship. You alone do we worship. is not sufficient for everyone. The mind wanders. One's heart would have to be as broad as the globe to observe the single one behind the unity in the totality of beings, and to say, you alone do we worship, and from you alone do we seek help. You alone do we worship, and from you alone do we seek help. There is a footnote which says that this is taken from Quran chapter 1, verse number 5. In consequence, so that the seal of divine oneness should be apparent on all species and realms of beings, just as it is shown clearly on individual objects, and that they should call to mind the single one, it is shown within the stamp of divine mercy. Thus, everyone at every level may turn to the most pure and holy one, and saying, you alone do we worship, and from you alone do we seek help, address him directly. So we can take a pause here. There's a lot going on in this paragraph, and I'll just briefly give in my immediate impressions, and then we can open up the floor with a biggest question that I've been wondering about. So first of all, when I just immediate impressions from this verse, it is as if the author is recommending me that, hey, Fariha, you need to go beyond the apparent causes in order to conclude and acknowledge a single one, as in a single source of existence. Otherwise, life becomes conflict. And really, what does it mean that life will become conflict? So let's take that banana example. You gave me that banana, and I say thank you. But if I really put my expectations in you, or just start trusting you as the one that will keep me providing the bananas, then I'm setting myself to failure, because we are all subject to perishing. And so that was one point that just struck my attention with this paragraph. And at the same time, the author is introducing to us the verse, you alone do we worship. Most of us know it from chapter Al-Fatiha, Iyaka na'budu. So he's actually letting us know, that this will not be sufficient. And I ask, how come? Why won't this be sufficient for me? So it is as if he's letting me know that in order to recognize a one that I should put my trust on, just understanding or just living with this Iyaka na'budu will not be enough. And then so I go on questioning why so. And so it is as if he's saying that because you alone do we worship goes together with you alone do we seek help from. So the Iyaka nasta'in, so Iyaka na'budu and Iyaka nasta'in. So it is as if, it is letting me know that you alone do we worship, and therefore you alone do we seek help. So what does it mean really if I look into these verses closely? Number one, it is as if it's inviting me to acknowledge a single source of existence, as in, hey, you need to go beyond the apparent causes. And number two, it is inviting me to go beyond my existence for a more collective acknowledgement. So what was interesting to me was the part of we. It's not saying I. It's not saying, hey, you alone do I worship and you alone do I seek help from. So that's interesting, because if we think about it deeply, if I stay with the I as in, me, myself, and I, right? If I stay with this, then I am alienating myself from the rest of the universe. Because if we think about it, we are so interconnected in our existence that the universality of things it really helps us to connect with a single source of being. Yes, one may argue that things are done onto me, my experiences are particular to me. Yes, that's true. However, it is as if there is a universality in the particular experiences that I go through. And so let's just take an example, as if I look into my existence and the existence of, let's say, a honeybee. Let's start seeing how different am I than a honeybee. We're all given stomach. I have a bigger stomach. It's amazing how the honeybee has a small, tiny stomach with small eyes. And definitely the honeybee gets inspired, so it must have some sort of consciousness and free will. But how is it different than I am? Perhaps I misuse my free will. But really, if we think about the existential side of any created thing, there's no really difference in terms of how we are brought into existence, how we are sustained. And the bee does what it's supposed to do. It bugs you or it cross-pollinate so we can enjoy sweet honey. And it's really interesting because from my existence, I realized the existence of everything as being dependent on a single source. It is as if we are all in need to be sustained. We are all in need to be given existence. And a third point that came to me was, I don't need to go even outside my realm of existence. So here I am under the sky and above the earth, standing tall. I don't need to go to the ocean, for example, and catch up with a dolphin and just start to look at its existence, because again, even if I ponder over my existence, how am I made to see, how am I made to speak, how am I made to talk, that's enough for me to conclude a single source of existence. So in a nutshell, really, universally, everything is declaring with the rest of creation how we are in need to be given existence. And so that was just some impressions, but I have some questions, and I'm hoping that you all can help me out, chime in by contributing. So before I say my questions, I see Farah, you have your hand up. So whenever you're ready, go ahead and express yourself out.
Assalamu alaikum. I hope my voice is coming out okay. It might cut off, so please let me know. Thank you for your summary and sharing your thoughts. I too found this paragraph a little challenging to grasp the message in it. And I think by sharing my thoughts right now, I'm hoping to clarify them further with everyone in the group. So the thing that caught my attention in this opening paragraph of the fourth mystery was the words "you alone," and which in Arabic goes like "iyaka." And so I was thinking of, okay, so what does this have, this concept, or why does the author take this particular verse that is focusing on you alone and connect it with divine mercy, and also mentions the idea of the mind wandering, because there's something insufficient if we just read the verse, you alone do we worship. There's something about just saying you alone do we worship that causes the mind to wander. But then, including divine mercy, we are able to have a direct relationship with the source of these words, the source of creation. So trying to solve this puzzle, I was thinking, perhaps when we were discussing divine mercy as the concept of mercy as in the thing that allows me to consciously connect with the source of my existence, that allows me to consciously not only connect, and then further allowing me to develop a personal relationship in which I am allowed to have a direct, like, one-to-one relationship, listening, conversing back and forth with the source of my creation. And so if it weren't for this idea of having a personal direct connection with the source of my creation, then I think as I look towards the universe and I say, you alone do we worship, I do find myself a bit lost in not knowing that I'm directing it to the single source of creation, but not knowing anything beyond that makes me feel, I guess, insignificant, or just sort of calling out, not being certain about who is it that I'm really talking to, not giving this being any sort of, I guess, unique personhood, I would say, or a relationship, a uniqueness to my relationship. But when I do take the concept of divine mercy as we've discussed it, it opens up this idea of me talking to a unique being and me having a unique relationship, giving the same sentence meaning, in which I'm able to use this sentence to correspond with him or with it directly. So I hope this tension was a little clear, but this is where I was thinking about this paragraph.
Thank you for your comment, Farah. Indeed, these are very connected. So you alone do we worship, and from you alone do we seek help. It has to follow with you alone do we seek help. And like you were saying, how if I'm able to make this connection, only then I can address as if the source of my existence directly. And yeah, that's where also I was wondering in terms of seeking help, like, what does it mean to seek help? Hey, banana, help me, I'm hungry. Or really, what am I seeking help for? And who am I seeking help from? So that's the biggest question I wanted to pose to you all, is that what am I seeking help for? So I need to first answer this question in order to really personalize this communication as a direct speech or acknowledgement to the source of my existence. So the question really is, what am I seeking help for? So I have a friend who wants to make a comment. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, not to directly answer your question, but to start with the first sentence of the fourth mystery. In the way in the face of the manifestation of divine unity within, boundless multiplicity. So I was trying to just decipher that for myself. What does that mean? So I feel that there's something within the human. We cannot just be limited to our being, our existence. We are very, as you were saying, that we are very connected beings, everything, everyone. We see things around us, the relationship with the banana, or your relationship, with your friends, family, live in a particular area, town, city, your country, so the whole earth. So we're not just bound to our own individual being, but we exist within the bounds and conditions of the whole universe. Everything is, there that communicates something with us. We have a relationship with everything. Just like if I am realizing my existence, my neighbor, my friend also has been, if I'm able to see that they also must be given existence. They cannot just be there by themselves. If I'm seeing the signs of mercy within me, I can see everything around me, in the universe, the stars, the sun, everything is there, which is also under that umbrella of the mercy. So everything there exists, and I am aware of that. I can see that. This is how I'm encoded, as Maria was mentioning. This is unbelievable, something that, how come, like everything this out there is, I can have a relationship with it. I can realize it. So the boundless, unlimited multiplicity, everything being given existence, and I can be aware and see that they all point to the single source of mercy, the absolute mercy. That's how the multiplicity brings the sign of, or has a stamp, shows that these things belong to the divine source or divine unity. So I just wanted to highlight that's why it cannot be just I'm individually worshiping, but I, along with everything that is there, you alone, do we. That's where the we comes from, that along with the whole universe, everything in congregation, like the orchestra, we all respond back to our source of existence, that we are realizing that this mercy is not coming from things themselves, but they are coming from whoever is displaying all this manifestations around us. But you can continue.
Yeah, thank you. This was great, actually, because everything, we are in a collective personality. Although we may have individual personalities, and I like the analogy of the orchestra you gave. So I may be playing the flute and you're playing the cello and somebody else is playing the trumpet. But the orchestra is really a collective personality of existence. And really recognizing this, definitely we're made in a way where we seek something to trust, something to hold on to, or like we mostly refer to, an object of worship. But that alone won't be sufficient, because I need something that can really provide me with help. And so that's where I wanted to really delve deeper into, what am I seeking help for? So we can tackle this question again. So if anyone care to share, what are your thoughts on, what am I seeking help for? That would be great. Hamim, go ahead, please.
Thank you. Beautiful summary, introduction, summary of the paragraph we read and comments. Now, what am I seeking help for? Of course, our friends touched upon some interesting words here. Oh, sorry. Inshallah, I will also boundless multiplicity. And also divine unity within boundless multiplicity. we understand that every individual can treat the universe as its own home. This is my home. I am a guest in this home, and I am treated as an individual being. The rest of the universe, other human beings, everything, just for me to help me. But I see that there is a direct relationship, direct correspondence between me and what is out there in the universe. I have been given senses, so many, endless senses, that each sense is in need of satisfaction. Well, what is in the universe corresponds, whatever I see in the universe, all the qualities correspond to the need of each of my senses. So there is a direct relationship between me and the universe, but universe has huge creation, variations of various, unlimited number of creations out there. Why my needs are also huge, because I have uncountable feelings, they all need to be satisfied. This relationship, it demonstrates that I can say that I am a center of the universe as far as my relationship with the rest of the universe is concerned. Now, the question rests here: do the things satisfy my need or not? I think all of you touched upon this point and said everything outside of the universe, in the universe outside of me, and including myself, need to be created. So they are employed, they are given, everything is given. So I have to see that within the boundless multiplicity, the things cannot adjust themselves, come to existence and adjust themselves to address me, to correspond to my feelings. They have no consciousness, no choice, free choice, no knowledge. They don't know me. We know that they have no qualities of themselves. They are just made out there. The way they are made demonstrates that they are employed to me. So what is my position in they are employed for me, to serve me? What is my position now to say? Either say that they, all these endless creatures out there, consciously know me and help me, or they are given existence to correspond to my needs. So we have to make our mind up which one is possible and which idea can be confirmable by me. Everything knows me and serves me, or everything is given existence by a one to correspond to my needs, which are my feelings need to be satisfied and need to have meaning in their existence. Although temporary demonstration, but if I understand that the universe has been employed to serve me as a human being, I understand that the one who employed the universe is really answering my needs. That is called mercy, which is called, this is our subject, divine mercy. Yet I have to learn this, how it works. No, I don't know how to mark it. Oh. Inshallah, I will learn it. No. Let me see this one. No. I am trying to mark divine mercy, but I couldn't. I don't know. Okay, if I do it from here, it may work in this way. Okay, divine mercy. If I understand the divine mercy, everything, the divine mercy is employing everything to me, then when I say, look, not only me is in need of you, the creator and his mercy, but everything in the universe need to be created by you, need to be employed by you, and all the things I receive from this boundless multiplicity of the universe, it means countless numbers of the things created out there, they all are from you. We acknowledge this as a human being. I am now speaking on behalf of these created beings because my consciousness is aware of their existence, is aware of their quality, and also acknowledges the fact that they all are employed by the creator, the source of existence of the universe. That is why I say, not only me, that I worship you, it means I acknowledge you as the one who provides everything. So my thanks, my grace, my praise, my admiration goes to you, but everything you employed in the universe for me also declare their worship of you. It means acknowledge your authority, acknowledge you as the source of their existence, acknowledge you as the source of mercy that you arranged all this universe for me. As far as I am concerned, I can say the universe is employed for me. We have to understand how precious creatures we are. Through our consciousness, we understand. So divine mercy is the key point here for me to realize, in order to be able to say that only you, we, all the elements together with the all elements of the universe worship you. And everything is in need of his creation, his mercy, to function in the way that they are functioning right now, in order to have the perfect, provide a perfect home for a human being. And of course, every human being can say this. For everyone, everybody can say, the universe is my home. You can say, I can say. And your existence is an element for me to be a friend for me. So your existence helps me to entertain me. My existence, maybe, it depends on your understanding. So everything is employed for an individual person through divine mercy. If we realize the divine mercy, we can easily say, only you we worship, all together, everything. And also, every being is in need of all the qualities it has, must be given to them from their creator. Otherwise, they cannot function as they do right now. That's why we have to acknowledge as conscious beings, human beings, each human being has to acknowledge that everything is in need of the one who created the whole universe. And I have to, through my consciousness, declare this, acknowledge this, and say, only from you we seek help. That's what long comment. Thank you.
And thank you very much, Brother Ali, for sharing your comments. It helps out a lot, because really just realizing that everything is in need to be given existence, and also that the existence of everything is in mutual cooperation as well. And understanding the divine mercy aspect of things, like you said, helps me realize that that in order to function as they are, these things must necessarily point to an absolute merciful one. And through this consciousness, then I can comfortably acknowledge within myself, you alone do we worship, Iyaka na'budu, and from you alone do we seek help, because we are all in need to be given existence, and we are all in need also to make sense of our existence. Because I was also thinking, perhaps what do I need help with? Like, I also need help with recognizing divine mercy, right, in this realm of multiplicity. So yeah, I think this answers the question. Alhamdulillah, what do I need? What am I seeking help for? I'm seeking help for in order to recognize divine mercy in the realm of multiplicity. That's really my homework or my human responsibility. Thank you for that. And I see that there's a comment on the chat box. Lubna is saying, you alone do we worship, and from you alone do we seek help. In practical terms, I see the connection as being important. We can worship through prayers, but sometimes forget that he's the ever-sustaining one. There's sometimes a disconnect between the worship and seeking help. Yes, that's a good comment, and that's where I think the human consciousness lies, at least in recognizing that everything is really interrelated, but dependent on a single source of existence to be given existence. And this awareness actually helps us be more connected with the source of our existence. Yeah, thank you for the comment, because everything is happening through our practical experiences, and that's where we need to be more watchful in how we assess things and how we analyze things, so that it satisfies our spirit, where we're not begging before the universe to be sustained. Rather, we have this consciousness that only the one that's employing everything at our service must be a merciful and compassionate one. And that's where the whole divine mercy recognition and awareness takes place. So thank you, Lubna, for your comment. If you have any follow-up comment or questions, feel free to put it on the chat. And let's check in to see if there's anyone else who wants to say something, express themselves out, or feel free to share out any thoughts that you have or any questions. Okay, while people are thinking, it's, yeah, I think even the last sentence, which also Farah brought up, that you alone do we worship, and from you alone do we seek help. Address him directly. So everyone at every level may turn to the most pure and holy one and address him directly. So really, how, it is as if the universe is a speech and I need to read it. But what happens when I read something? I get meaning from it, and then I need to do my homework, where I need to, whatever meaning I extract from it, there must be a conclusion that follows it, and I need to respond back to the one that's making me read all of this creation around me. So I really thought that was a very interesting point as well. So let me check if there are no more comments or questions from anyone, or if there is some piece in that text that you feel that we need to go over, feel free to say that. Otherwise, I'll give in 5 seconds and we can move on to the next paragraph. Okay. All right, so let's move on to the next paragraph. It is in order to express this mighty mystery and clearly point out the seal of divine oneness that the All-Wise Qur'an suddenly mentions the smallest sphere and most particular matter when describing the vastest sphere of the universe. For example, the creation of the heavens and the earth. That is, so that the mind does not wander, nor the heart drown, and the spirit may find its true object of worship directly. While mentioning the creation of the heavens and earth, it opens a discussion of man's creation and voice, and the subtle details of the bounties and wisdom in his features, for example. This truth is demonstrated in miraculous fashion by the verse, and among his signs is the creation of the heavens and the earth, and the variations in your languages and in your colors. That is taken from Quran chapter 30, verse number 22. And among his signs is the creation of the heavens and the earth, and the variations in your languages and in your colors. Okay, I think we can take a pause here. This is a profound verse to go over. So it's let me see, there's something on the chat. So Muhammad Said is saying, being in absolute need of being given existence is the equalizer for everything and everybody in my universe. Oh, for the first paragraph. Yeah, thank you for sharing your takeaway from the first paragraph. I don't know if you want to expound a little more on this. Feel free to do so. Okay. If not, then let's look into this second paragraph. So, well, my immediate takeaways from this is that, some things are very obvious to us, right? So just like the author referencing the verse, the creation of the heavens and earth, it's just, we can all observe it. Even we can all observe on its existence. And rather than, going into the details of things, so let's say checking in maybe the sun or the moon and getting into the details or the scientific discoveries of, oh, if I study perhaps maybe the moon, I may fall into the details which may lead to cause and effect. This is causing this, you know, this atmospheric pressure is causing this much light. I mean, so there is definitely a slip there, but I should definitely start with the bigger picture of things and grasp it, and then from the macro move into the micro level of things. Otherwise, when I get into the micro side of things, definitely the details may perhaps lead me towards, you know, just being stuck with the scientific facts and cause and effect. So I'll just take a pause here because I see that there's a hand up. Osman, go ahead, please.
Yes, Assalamu alaikum. First, thank you for sharing your thoughts, because it's helping me understand this the text. And I wanted to come back, or at least address one particular part of this paragraph that kind of ties back to the first paragraph as well. And this is the seal of divine oneness. It is, so for those of us who look at the word and try to understand it in all its intricacies and all its interconnectedness, it becomes obvious to the person that really is looking carefully at the word that at every level you see a dependence that cannot be explained by the elements that you're observing. Let me give an example to try to clarify myself better. If you look, for instance, at something very simple as an atom or a cell, you can see that for this cell to function, or that atom to function, it needs every other atom in the universe to be behaving in a certain way to connect it so that to connect to each other so that it displays the order we see. And this for me says either these small elements have a knowledge of every other element in the universe, or that there is a oneness that really controls these elements that I'm observing. And that's where this paragraph really brings into light this part that I'm reading, the seal of divine oneness, that I really can not only can read it, but I really can experience it, that at every level, I can see the manifestation of a creator that has not only controlled one isolated system, but have control over everything else in the universe that I can see that is connected to it. And this kind of connects also to the last part or the last sentence in the previous paragraph that I really found quite profound, that says that at every level, one turns back to the creator and addresses him directly, that this chain of cause and effect cannot explain our existence. We need him. And that's why we address him. That's why we worship him. It really, I found this point of divine oneness connected with addressing the creator to manifest or to keep our order, or to keep our creation quite enlightening. Thank you.
Thank you for bringing this great point where, yes, everything is, I see your hand up, Osman. Do you want to add something more? Okay.
Sorry, that was a mistake.
No problem, that's fine. And okay, so yeah, this whole part of how everything is interconnected, but at the same time, it is dependent. Things are dependent on a single source to be brought into existence. And like you said, at every level of how we observe the existence of anything, things point to a single one or there's definitely a seal of divine oneness, even in the order that we observe. Thank you. Is there anyone else who wants to make a comment? Okay, so at any time, please feel free to raise your hand. Yeah, I mean, so I guess with this awareness of the seal of divine oneness, then we won't be able to slip into the cause and effect ideology, because otherwise, how do I explain the existence of even anything? Because if I fall into the cause and effect ideology, then I'm claiming that things are independently existing. You know, they're not in need to be sustained by a single source of existence. And yeah, you know, the verse is actually interesting because it's saying that among his signs, so like everything is a sign. You know, we spoke about how everything in the universe is an intercessor acting on behalf of a single source of existence. Same thing, it's you can look into the creation of day and night, even your own creation, or just obvious things, that these are really signs. And you know, and it's the sign points to something. So, and it's interesting, it goes on saying, and the variations in your languages and in your colors. So, you know how we were talking about that definitely we are all a collective personality, but within that we all have our own individual personality. So even with our interest areas, so for example, you may be a marine biologist, so you may be more interested in the type of creation that goes on within the sea world, and I am just a simple farmer, so I enjoy more the creation of banana. But it doesn't matter, like these are, you know, variations in our interest areas, but as long as we utilize these experiences as signs pointing to a single source of existence is what matters. And yeah, it's also interesting that the creation of everything, things are so different. There's the sea world, and there is galaxies, solar system, right? There's a lot to experience, a lot to observe and notice. And, you know, creation just does not consist of, you know, what I'm observing within my vicinity, but it's very broad. It expands. Even the ants have like a whole colony. They have like their own species, collective personalities as well. I mean, it does fall under the collective personality, but like everyone has their own like little world they live in, like the sea animals, even the whole ecosystem, the way it's set up, it is interconnected. It is dependent on a single source, but we need to utilize these as signs pointing to a single source of existence. Yeah, so these were just some of my excitements with this verse. So I have a friend here who wants to make a comment. Go ahead, please.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, I'm still trying to understand the second paragraph, and Osman's and your comment about, you know, how this particular thing that we are experiencing, and like the example Osman gave about the atom that cannot own those qualities, cannot just be there by itself, but it has to exist with the conditions and of the whole universe. So the whole universe needs to exist, must exist for that single atom to exist. So I cannot just get lost in that particular atom, but I have to, my consciousness allows me to see the things in a more grander scale of like time, seeing the relation that ties everything to the whole universe, and seeing that this qualities, they do exist along with the whole universe, and whoever is giving those qualities to the particular atom, that thing itself, must be the one who is also establishing that order, or this whole universe, arranging all those things along with that. So that's what I was getting, if that makes sense.
Yeah, thank you. It does make sense. Looking into the grand scheme of things opens up our horizons as well, where we go from the micro to the macro level. And similarly, it can be the other way around, as the verse is mentioning, from the macro to the micro level. So I can start with my own existence and then realize the existence of everything, how everything else is in need to be given an existence, and also is dependent on one to sustain their existence. So I think that's a really good point. Thank you for sharing that. Is there anyone else who wants to make a comment or has something to share? Feel free at any time to raise your hand, or you can put also comments on the chat. Hamim, go ahead, please. Brother, I think you have accidentally unmuted everybody. If everyone can please mute themselves. Alhamdulillah, we're set now. Brother Ali, if you want to make a comment, go ahead, please.
Instead of unmuting myself, I unmuted everyone. So, sorry, my handicap in technology being, I don't know how to manage with this technological stuff. So anyway, I'm going to learn, inshallah. So the order of the universe is so interesting. From one aspect, it looks like everything is in need of each other and supporting each other consciously, so that the order works perfectly. From another aspect, when you look at it, the things don't have consciousness within them, in themselves. How can they communicate with the rest of the universe, as our friend Uthman told us, that when you look at an atom, in order to exist and function as it does right now, you have to have the whole universe or to be in this perfect order. So we have to understand that in order to understand who is the source of this order, do we have to think all the things together, whole universe, as the Quran says here. This is a beautiful verse, actually. It's a big example. Oh, sorry. This verse is really interesting verse. When you look at the universe, it has a perfect relationship between everything. We understand that it must be arranged by a being. But as far as I am concerned, when I look at the universe, I follow the order. For example, take the example of today's example, banana. A banana, in order to have the banana, I have to find out the source of the banana's qualities. Its skin, its color, it is a meaty part, and the seeds in it, and the taste, the smell, and the vitamins. When I look at the banana, so I see, in order to have this, when I look at the order of the universe, there must be air, there must be sunlight, there must be minerals, there must be order that will give the shape to the banana and arrange everything in a perfect measurement. Lots of things are going on in order to have one banana. And my mind really wanders around, and my heart says, now, shall I thank the sun? Shall I be appreciative of the atmosphere, or the movement of the earth, the rotation of the earth? So the seasons will be in this way, and the arrangement of the globe of earth in a certain way, that it is not straight, it is not really the perfect circle. It must be arranged in the best way that it is right now. So how my mind goes everywhere. And the Quran says, look at one thing that's enough for you. For example, look at your language, your voice, the way you speak. And for example, the computer technology lets us understand that a machine can acknowledge your voice and it doesn't confuse with others, because your voice has a unique type of existence. From within the whole order of the universe, your voice, your skin color, your DNA, whatever your cell, whatever anything, any micro existent thing, anything exists at the micro level, must be uniquely arranged without confusing with anything else within the universe, as far as we can see. It means we are everything, every human being, every skin, every language, every voice, every feeling, each character of a human being, every feeling of a human being must be uniquely created without being confused with the rest of with anything within the rest of the universe. It needs a particular choice, knowledge, purpose. This will be like this, without being confused with anything else in the universe. So I can say, if I have a unique voice, language, it means this unique language must be given existence by a one who knows all the rest of the universe, so that it will be, my voice will be uniquely designed within the order of the universe. Although the order seems to be everything is interrelated, that is correct, but within this interrelationship, every point in the huge network of the universe is particularly chosen, decided, and given existence and giving the qualities within the network of the whole order of the universe. That means the one who gave existence to the universe is particularly demonstrating his single unique character of existence in every being which exists in the universe. So I don't have to go and think about the sequence of the cause and effect, as we call it, as people call it. I don't. So the relationship seems to be, the order is confused with cause and effect relationship. There is no cause and effect relationship. Order is established by a single being pointing out every point. Every single being in the universe must be given a unique existence, so that I myself don't have to think the sequence of the order of the universe altogether, but pay attention to one single existent being and say it is uniquely created by the one who gave existence, who owns the existence of the universe, so that I can concentrate on the singleness, uniqueness, or unity of the Creator as presenting himself to my consciousness as being ever ready and present in everything and communicating with me, so that I can say, Iyaka na'budu. It means you alone. All the rest of the universe, worship, it means acknowledge that you are our owner. You are the source of our existence.
Oh, thank you, Brother Ali, for your comment. It's interesting just to realize that all the feelings that are imparted onto us, it's just endless feelings, really. They must be uniquely created. Just pondering over this, it's miraculous, actually. It's how things are even happening in such a miraculous fashion, where every feeling must be uniquely created without any sort of confusion with the rest of the universe. So that's very profound, where, you know, I was also thinking how even like this communication happens, this whole wireless technology and everything, you know, different networks, pointers, and yet here we're talking about the existence of even a single voice, a bird chirping. This chirpness must be uniquely designed by a single source of existence. And how many birds are there out there? Endless. It's really, it's very mysterious also, and I don't blame the author in terms of how he broke down these little pieces as mysteries, because it's really the me not being able to explain the existence of things makes it a more exciting human experience, because, you know, if I'm able to explain, or if I were able to explain the existence of anything within the universe, that's it. We're done. We're, you know, there's nothing to do. There's then I don't know. I don't even have a purpose. But just how you know, things seems mysterious. You know, when we really do our homework or take upon our responsibility of questioning the source of existence of the smallest particle of matter, really. It could be a voice, like you said, which we really take for granted. Then, you know, things, it becomes an exciting human journey where, you know, I keep going on in this quest of trying to attach my being with the source of its existence, because there's no other way around. And once this consciousness is deeply rooted within my existence, then I can comfortably conclude that you alone do we worship, and from you alone do we seek help. So thank you for that comment. And let's see if anyone else wants to make a comment. H. Beza, go ahead, please.
Assalamu alaikum. I was thinking about how, you know, along the last comments that were shared, and in these two particular paragraphs that we've read, this emphasis that the author is making upon the mind wandering. He says in the paragraph that we read, so that the mind does not wander, nor the heart drown, and the spirit may find its true object of worship. And I was thinking about, you know, it's interesting why he's making an emphasis here within the context of our topic today. And I guess, you know, when I think about, as I mean, this isn't something new, but I'm just going to reiterate what I understood. When I think about or reflect on the entirety of the universe and the interrelated of things within themselves, with one another, with literally everything and anything that comes to my mind, it can also be in a way overwhelming. And it's impossible really to really wrap my mind around the concept, or not the concept, but around infinity itself, or that which is absolute, because it is boundless. I mean, I can understand the concept, and I can understand the necessary existence of one who must be absolute, but I cannot understand the essence, I guess. So when I try to, even, you know, if I were to take like a single cell and my finger, for example, you know, I can see the relationship in it, but from the single cell to what makes up my finger as multiple and numerous cells, there are in a way infinite stages or infinite relationships just between those two relationships. So much so that the multiplicity that the earlier paragraph was talking about is indeed boundless. There is really, you know, I can keep zooming in infinitely, or zooming out infinitely as well. So I am in need of, in a way, to be given the larger picture, but because of my own limitedness or my createdness, I require an example, a sample where I can kind of zoom in and understand the larger picture from there as well. So I think, you know, I found that in a way beautiful, because this concept of, you know, everything looking to that which is absolute or infinity can be found for me within a single thing. So I don't need to, and nor can I, reflect on all the numerous and infinite atoms and things within the universe. I mean, I don't have the lifespan for that. I would need to be infinite in a way, let alone the capacity would be another question. But just by looking at a single cell, or just looking at my finger, I don't have to necessarily be a scientist or have extensive knowledge. I'm able to then conclude or say, yes, the one who must have given, or the one who is giving existence to this, you know, single finger of mine, must be an absolute being who must also be giving existence to the entirety of the universe. And my ability, or this given ability, to come to this conclusion just by using one single thing and having seeing that as a signpost to eternity or infinity, is then also a sort of divine mercy for me, because it takes into account my position as a created being and my needs as a created being, and addressing them within the limited scope of what I am able to reflect on or have access to, and conclude. So just wanted to share that.
Good comment. Thank you, Beza, for bringing this point up. Definitely, our whole reasoning process starts with the mind. The mind reasons, try to make sense of the existence of everything, and obviously looks for a cause of existence of everything that we're made to experience. So, like you were saying, it's we can easily conclude that there must be a necessarily existent one, but then taking even the conclusion also as a sign pointing to the eternal aspect of things. So it is as if, yeah, so the universe must have a creator. Okay, that's great, but what do I do now? I think it's also recognizing the whole divine mercy part of things where, you know, if I cannot explain even the existence of mercy within any created atom. So, you know, even this mercy that I'm experiencing must necessarily point to an absolute source of mercy. So then, yeah, it does become a good news for the human spirit, because the human spirit at the end of the day yearns for an eternal object of worship, or like the author says here, it's the true object of worship. So I thank you for sharing this comment. Anyone, excuse me, anyone else wants to make a comment or has a question? We can take in one last comment. I know it's 12:57 Eastern Standard Time, so we can, I see Hamim, your hand is up. Go ahead, please.
Just to repeat what you said, actually, I'm not going to say anything new. I was excited to see that universe is created, given existence in such a way that every single thing witnesses the absoluteness of its creator. That is, if this is not mercy, what is mercy then? For me, for my mind, for my heart, for my investigations, it makes it so simple for me in order to understand what the source of existence of this universe, how the universe came into existence. Every single thing is unique in its existence, but at the same time, all together works harmoniously with each other. They are just corresponding to each other, complementing to each other in the perfect order as we are seeing in the universe out there, but everything is given existence in a unique form, unique quality. I mean, it is impossible not to submit myself, not to really acknowledge the owner of my own existence as the one who is the absolute creator of the universe. He must be absolute, because otherwise this huge universe will be created with impossible to count different creatures. Each one of them is given an existence which is unique to itself. Come on, it is impossible to imagine. It helps me to understand that the creator of the universe must be an absolute one, because he is operating in the universe individually for everything, but never losing the order of the universe, so that the things will go wrong. Not at all. That's the only way to understand that whoever gave existence to the universe must have an absolute quality. And this is the very, very easy way of understanding it, because of this uniqueness in the creation of each being. That is a really very useful, very helpful compassion, mercy in the existence of the universe I can see. And I have to be very grateful to the Creator, who made everything easy for me to get to know him, to communicate with him, and direct my worship, feeling of worship to him. Thank you.
MashaAllah, thank you for this beautiful summary. So really, my main takeaway is that every single thing in this universe declares the absoluteness of its maker. And yeah, that's about it for now. So we can end here for today, inshallah, unless there are any comments from anyone. Let me just check. Okay, so inshallah, we will pick up from the following paragraph next week. And thank you all for your participation and comments. Really, it helps make the discussion live. Thank you. So Brother Ali, if you can please do the closing. Thank you.
You can do the closing. Why not?
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Subhanaka la ilma lana illa ma 'allamtana innaka antal alimul hakim. Glory be unto you. We have no knowledge save except that which you've taught us. Indeed, you are all knowledgeable, all wise. Wa akhru da'wahum alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Bi hurmati sirra surat al-Fatiha. Ameen. All right. Assalamu alaikum, everyone.
Alaikum salam. Inshallah, I'll see you next Monday and next Saturday. Thank you for joining us. And may Allah accept your prayers and fasting. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.